Welcome back to This Is Live, the Sunday talk show here on our Rice News channel. We'll finally establish a connection with Dakar, Senegal, where African affairs analyst and former world correspondent Paul Ejime joins me now. He's been covering the build-up to the now postponed presidential election in that country. Thank you for joining us, Paul Ejime. Welcome to This Day Live.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you.
Yes, well, very quickly, this is the first time there's going to be postponement of presidential election in Senegal, one of the otherwise more stable democracies in Africa. And the reason is President Sall saying because of the conflict between the National Assembly and the Constitutional Council over the nationality of some of the 20 presidential candidates and allegations of corruption. He would rather have a situation whereby there is dialogue. And then on the basis of that, for now, the election is postponed indefinitely. But he has until April the 2nd, 2024, to leave that office. And there are opposition parties that are already kicking, like the Taxale Senegal party, for example. And then, of course, the party of Wade, the son of the former president Wade, also alleging that there is mischief involved. But you are on the ground there, and you've been following the processes, attending meetings, observing. What is the situation? Will the election take place before April 2?
Well, it's Senegal is, like you said, before now, very stable, but it's enveloped by uncertainty following that presidential decree by President Sall yesterday. What has happened, it was actually the PDS, former President Wade's son, that raised the issue that they disqualified him over dual nationality. But even before he did actually renounce the second nationality, which is French, but he said it was too late. So, but they are now accusing other members, other candidates of having the same issue. So it was a case of why me and not the others. And so because of that, the thing has gone to the National Assembly with the party deputies trying now to bring a motion that if voted in could mean that there will be a law because the presidential decree will not suffice. There has to be a law to override what the Constitution says. At the Article 27 and 103 talks about the fact that elections must be held on the 25th of February. And because failing which will also affect the swearing in, which has to be on the 2nd of April. So if you miss this deadline, you are likely going to miss the other one, and that will be a political crisis. So the parties, the deputies are now, they set up a commission to investigate these issues and then the allegation that some of the Constitutional Council members must have compromised their situation. So it is an uncharted territory for Senegal, and then very not good news for ECOWAS. But ECOWAS has reacted to say, listen, we are concerned about what is happening, so you have to please get a date and then follow the Constitution. That is what ECOWAS has said. Other presidential candidates, unfortunately, are saying no, and that they are going to go ahead with campaigning, which is supposed to start tomorrow. So it remains to be seen. One can say that security has been, placed on alert. The gendarmes are in certain places because when the opposition parties, when they are campaigning, when this is, is unresolved, is likely going to create chaos. Remember that in April, because of President Sall, he wanted to go for a third term. but eventually said he wasn't going to. But there has been a lot of water under the bridge. Opposition leader Sanko has been jailed, and he has nominated another person to take over. He asked his supporters to support Fire. But Fire is also in detention, awaiting trial. But of course, he can contest from prison. Somebody who has not been convicted can stand the election and possibly win or lose. So that is the area where Senegal finds itself. And then in an ECOWAS where 4 member states are under military rule, and 3 of the countries have given notice to withdraw. So it is. I think ECOWAS has to step up, and lovers of democracy in West Africa should also, all the stakeholders, should come and find a solution to this, because nobody can tell how it will end.
Okay, I thought the effect of the decree by President Macky Sall was to cancel the November 2023 measure that sets specific date for the polls this year. But, well, you are saying that ECOWAS needs to do more, and the international community as well. What more can they do, other than talking to the parties involved and trying to get a new date to be chosen? Yes.
The question is that some lawyers here are saying that even when a case is progressing, if this allegation, because it's not been proven, that should not add to be a reason for cancelling an election. Some opposition people are saying that this amounts to a constitutional and political coup. It's not only when the military takes guns and begins to shoot or play martial music that you will say that is a coup. ECOWAS has a protocol that says zero tolerance for unconstitutional change of government. And when you have a situation or a decree that is running counter to the Constitution, I think there is a problem. Also remember that recently President Macky Sall dismissed all the members of the Electoral Commission. They call them Senate, the French acronym. He says that their tenure had since expired, but it only happened because the Commission was following a court decision saying that Usman Sanko's name that was asked to be removed, the Commission said they were going to put it back. That was when suddenly it was realized that the tenure of the Commissioner had lapsed. Eventually, the Constitutional Court ruled that Sanko should not stand because of that he infringed on the law. Okay, that is the case, and he is there. He had chosen somebody that he has asked his supporters to rally behind. Fire, but Fire, like I said, is in prison. So, but I can run. And if he wins, he can come from prison, depending on what happens on his case. If there is a trial before his inauguration. So there's a lot of, improbables, uncertainty around Senegal's political, the politics, if one may call it so.
Watching brief on developments in Senegal, and it's good that you are on the ground there to continue to update us. But let's talk about West Africa generally. ECOWAS. 3 of the Sahelian states, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, announced their withdrawal without delay from ECOWAS, contrary to what the ECOWAS protocol says about the process in that regard having to take a whole year. But they say ECOWAS has departed from Pan-Africanism, and that ECOWAS is now dancing to foreign interests. I guess they are referring to the US. And of course, funny enough, Russia has also been all over the Sahel region, hobnobbing with Niger, with Mali particularly. I ask you, is it possible to prevent a new Cold War in Africa now that the West African region is emerging as a battlefield for proxy war among the superpowers, as it were?
So, yes, this was, I predicted this in the article I read, preventing a new Cold War last week. It is possible because what is playing out, like you said, is that superpowers, the US, Russia, China, the EU, are now using West Africa as a theater. For that, the decision by the three members of ECOWAS, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, to pull out is not unconnected with the fact that they're moving closer to Russia and China. And then Algeria is also in the question. Morocco is there. But the jury is still out on the reason that they have given. They say ECOWAS is pandering, is being teleguided. But they too, I don't know whether what Russia is doing to them or what they are doing to Russia will not amount to being teleguided. So, but ECOWAS, in all of this, I think not just ECOWAS, but Nigeria, because a failed ECOWAS is a failed Nigeria. Nigeria should step up because it is the lack of assertiveness of the part of Nigeria that has encouraged all these problems. Nigeria has to assert itself. ECOWAS is based in Abuja. Nigeria contributes more than any other country, about 60 to 70% of the budget of ECOWAS. Nigeria is the largest country in West Africa. It has a big economy and can play that role of saying, gentlemen, please, you can call a stakeholders meeting. Now, let's talk about solution. In Russia, the US, France, Morocco, Algeria, get all of them to say, listen, anything happening in Niger will affect Nigeria. Anything happening in ECOWAS will affect Nigeria. So let us put an end to all these problems, all these issues, and it can be done. Without riding on the sovereignty of any country. After all, these other countries, these were the fourth rights that the founding fathers of ECOWAS were trying to patch up. It looks like ECOWAS has now gone in full cycle. The issue of lack of coherence, lack of unity, and then interference. France, in its former colonies, has not covered itself in glory. That is why the citizens there, the ones saying that the anti-French sentiment is by the citizens. But these military Trump leaders are just riding on that, on the wave of that popular sentiment. But they too, this is not the time for military rule. Let a bad democratic government is still better than magnanimous or whatever dictatorship or military rule. So,
very quickly,
democracy is not perfect.
Paul?
Let Africa and West Africa find their own way of governing themselves, whatever name they want to call it, but that will be people-centered, that will be people-oriented, and will be to the benefit of their population, who have been underdeveloped by the lack of leadership, both at the national level, institutional level at ECOWAS, and then regional level. Nigeria has to lead the charge, just like he led the charge in forming ECOWAS in 1975.
Paul, if you can hear me, well, just to wrap it up. Now, just to draw your attention to the statement issued by the Foreign Affairs Ministry of the Republic of Niger. pointedly accusing Nigeria of spearheading an attack on the integrity and interests of Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. And the Foreign Affairs Ministry of Niger had to remind Nigeria that when Nigeria had a civil war crisis, Niger stood by Nigeria to help promote its territorial integrity and sovereignty. Hence, it feels disappointed that Nigeria is involved in this. And then also, it pointed out that Nigeria has no moral lessons to teach Niger, which I find very curious. It says either in terms of governance or in terms of politics or whatever, that Niger stands to learn nothing from Nigeria. Meanwhile, Nigeria shares a long border of over 1,600 kilometers with Niger. What threat do we face in this regard?
My voice. But is it not ironic that for the 8 years of President Buhari's government, people were accusing when they were going to build a rail line, to build infrastructure and everything, Maradi and all that. Nigerians were complaining. And whenever leaders in Niger have a problem, they run to Nigeria. It's ironic that Niger now is the one trying to teach Nigeria a lesson in international relations. I don't think they have anything to teach Nigeria on that level. If not the fact that the leadership in Nigeria has been out of the party, because Niger is a poorly managed country. It has resources. This kind of segment should be directed at France. France that has developed the country for how many years? And they still run to France. Nigeria has been providing as much as giving them electricity. It's not the way to pay Nigeria, but it also says something about the need for Nigeria to review its foreign policy, to make it citizen-centered. Nigeria first before any other place. Remember that the former president had said nobody should call him because if there is any problem, he will go to his people in Niger. Now, Niger is the one now accusing Nigeria of not doing, of being undemocratic, or not caring about them. So these are 7 states also in Nigeria. They share borders with Niger. These are people, most of the same stock. So they shouldn't be talking anger or disunity. I think because of the fact that somebody wants to, a military colonel wants to, he doesn't even have the mandate of his people. Is that the person that should be teaching Nigeria any lesson?
Anyway, on that note, Paul.
The president of the leadership.
On that note, Paul Ejime, joining us all the way from Dakar, Senegal. I'd like to thank you very much for taking time out to be part of the conversation on this Live, the Sunday Talk Show today.